was talking about when I said that hinge. So I want everyone to practice right now pushing their butt to the back wall. So you're not just bending forward, throwing all your weight on those toes. You're pushing that weight back. Soft knees again. So with this RDL, you're going to choke up on that the band again a little bit. So you have some tension. And then you're going to go ahead and stand with your glutes and hamstrings. So keeping a nice straight spine, pushing those hips back, standing. I'm going to move to the side again. So pushing back, you got tension on your band, and standing with strictly glutes and hamstrings. Nice. So some people are getting a little squatty down here, so you're keeping your knees pretty stable right here, and you're doing that hinge. So we're not really squatting down, we're hinging. Hinge. So here I have my kettlebell. I'm pushing those hips to the back of the room. I have soft knees, but I'm not squatting. Pushing those hips back, standing by squeezing those glutes and hamstrings. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's try a squat with this. So again, you're going to want to choke up on that band a little bit. And then when you're doing that squat, I think I prefer doing kettlebell, but I don't think we have enough. Again, you're pushing those hips back and you're squatting down a little bit. So from the side, I'm pushing those hips back first, and then I'm squatting to down where I feel comfortable. So yep, you can throw it above your shoulders. My band is definitely too tight for that. But coming down, standing by squeezing those quads, glutes. Nice. And remember, always locking in those scaps so our arms aren't going everywhere. You're locking those elbows right into those sides, squeezing that back. Good. Perfect. Nice. Okay. Let's move on. Let's go ahead and do some monster walks. So everyone's going to need a little band. So I don't know if you guys can see me down here, but we're going to do some lateral walks. So basically you're going to take a nice little squatty position, so you're not just standing with your legs locked, nice squatty position. You're going to want some space to move, but you're just going to take a nice step to the side. Just keep going. Hopefully there's room for everyone. When you run out of room, go the other way. Keeping those knees so they're not just dumping in. You're not just throwing those ankles out. You're keeping those knees pushing against the band. Go the other way if you haven't decided to change already. Feel those glutes burning. So this is one of those activation drills. So getting those glutes fired up before working out. Good. Okay. Nice. All right. The next thing we're going to do is called a monster walk. So you're going to be going in front to back. So I'm going to show you from back here. So again, you're going to take that nice hingy position, and you're going to go ahead and step out. So you're stepping out a little bit, going front, you're going forward, and then you can go back to stepping back, pushing those knees out in like an abduction. Staying nice in squatty position. Oh. Who wants to hip thrust? First. Volunteer? Doreen, all right. You don't have to use your band. You don't have to. You can if you want. All right, if anyone is unsure about their hip thrusts, please make sure you do it now, because I'm going to be making sure we do some one-on-one coaching on it. Thanks for volunteering, Doreen. Make sure this is all set up for you. Okay, so one thing when you're setting up for a hip thrust, the bottom of your shoulder blades are set up on the box that you're set up. So normally we would do this on a bench or something, but you can see she's got her right under her scaps lined up on that box. You have that bar right in your hip crease. So to find your hip crease, all you have to do is do a little hinge, that's your hip crease. So having that bar nice and in there, finding a good position with your arms, make sure that they're in the same spot. She has her feet in a way that it's going to be 90 degrees when she goes ahead and stands up, and she's going to keep 3 points of contact. Perfect. Making sure there's that nice pelvic alignment. She's tucking that pelvis. Good. She's squeezing at the top, keeping your core tight. She's got her chin tucked. So this is great. Perfect. And you can add a band always as well to have that extra resistance against that glute med. Perfect, Dorian. You can stop whenever you want. Okay. Yep, you're good. Whenever you're ready. Make sure you have that pelvic tilt. Yep, push with those heels.
Ooh.
Good. Nice. Perfect. Yeah, you just hip thrust 55 pounds 3 times. Nice. You're holding at the top, which is really good. Getting that activation, keeping that core tight, and then making sure, again, your hips aren't out. You're bringing those hips in. Good. Nice. Nice activation on the glutes. Really squeezing. Keeping that core tight. Perfect. Nice job. We got some good hip thrusters in here. Some naturals. Perfect. Make sure you got that pelvic tilt. You're squeezing those.
You don't go down all the way. Just...
You can. So it'd just be called a dead stop if you went all the way down.
So you go
Good. Keep that core really tight.
Yeah, and ideally you want a taller bench just because your torso is longer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll
well,
feel
it
more
feels a
natural
little
on
awkward.
bench.
Like, I feel like to get it, I have to go down all the way to, like,
good
reset
extension
my
on
form.
Yeah. You should be on a bench.
Because, like, I feel like right now I have to lean back to kind of get the full
Range of motion.
activation. But where I actually feel it is right here.
Your hamstring?
Like, right here.
Yeah, your hamstring. Yeah, your
Yeah.
yeah, your hips. Yeah. So driving with those heels. Good, good.
Wobbly there.
Yep, no, you're good. Keep that core tight.
Push your knees out a little bit so they're
Good. Perfect. Really squeezing those glutes at the top. Nice. Crushing it. You guys are going to be hip thrusting all over the gym. All right. Okay, so there's a few different things you can do with this. You can do more of a sumo squat where you'll take a wider position with your legs a little wider than shoulder width. So actually I'm going to quick show you this, how to find your sumo stance. So you start shoulder width, toes out, Michael Jackson, toes out. That's your sumo stance. My sumo stance by doing that is a little too wide for me, so I take a little step back in to where I feel powerful and I can keep those hips, those knees over my toes. Because if your knees are coming in like this, it's too wide for you. Okay, so find your stance. So here we go. A sumo's coming right down here, keeping that chest up. If you have logos on your shirts, I should be able to read them. Keeping your core tight. Again, those knees are going right over the toes. They're not coming in at all. And you can do this, if you're doing a burnout, you can do a pulse. So you're down here doing half reps. So only coming up halfway, pulsing right here. And you can really feel the burn. Keeping that core really tight though. The next thing you can do is a goblet squat. So if you have your kettlebell, this could be too heavy if you have a heavy kettlebell. But you can hold it bell up. Yep, you can do it that way too. And then you can take a more narrow stance because your weight's out of your way. So you can go more shoulder width and then squatting with that. So I'm going to go from the side. So then you can squat with the weight up here. Keeping those arms locked in. You don't want to have your arms way out here because then you're just going to be working a lot of shoulder. So keeping them nice and tucked. And you can do those pulse squats with these too. Doing nice pulse ones there too. Perfect. Huh? However you feel comfortable going. Yeah, what can you go? Once you lose form that's too low, and I would work more on more mobility drills to get your range of motion better. So real quick, we have a single leg RDL that I'm going to show you. So opposite hand, opposite leg. This makes me nervous. Okay, so my weight's in my right hand, my left leg's gonna be staying. And then you're gonna go ahead and touch that kettlebell to the floor. So if you need to find a wall, a chair for stability, go ahead and do that. Make sure you're keeping that flat back though. A lot of times people wanna do this, they wanna curl down. Make sure you're keeping that nice hinge. So I'm gonna quick show a bridge on the ground so if you guys can't see me. Okay, so with the bridge, again, my feet are in a position where when I'm up, I can have a 90 degree. I have a band on it, so I'm working those abduction a little bit. So I'm working that upper butt or glute med, as well as your glute max by doing that extension. So same thing, you wanna make sure your back's not just kicked out with your glutes, you're pulling your hips in and then going into a nice bridge. And I'm constantly putting resistance on this band. I'm not letting it just pull my legs in, constantly pushing against it, bringing it down. You can do these single legs. I might do that without the band. But you can do these single legged. Again, you're not letting your hips fall or anything. You're keeping that pelvis nice and straight, driving through the heel. Okay. You guys might want to do this on the grass though. I'm gonna have everybody do this. We're gonna rep it out. We're gonna do a little bit of a burnout. So make sure you have your band. All right, everybody go ahead and bridge whenever you're ready. Good, just keep repping through it. Good, keeping that pelvis tight. Bring your legs in just a little bit, Stephanie. Good. Nice. Yeah, try and do 15 reps. Keep those hips nice and neutral. Make sure you don't have that pelvic tilt that's extreme. You're not sticking out that butt. So here I am, high step, coming up. A slow-mo high step is a deficit. So your nice eccentric work. I'm going nice and slow, so I can't anymore. So this is a high step. This is pretty high. So find just what a high step is for you and then trying that. Because I mean, even if you say your goal is to get a pistol squat, this is how I would have you train for that. But getting that mobility, because going down, having that eccentric work, slow on the negative, until you can't go any further. So you guys can do it in a seat, or you can do standing. So we're going to do some abduction. So you can do this standing to your frontal plane right here, keeping that core nice and tight right here. Or you can do it seated in a transverse abduction. So remember I told you to find each different planes of motion. So if you've already done a bunch of the frontal and sagittal plane, you haven't done any transverse, maybe do it seated. And then really squeezing right here. Don't let the band just snap you back. Make sure it's nice and controlled. You're squeezing at the end. Yep, keep that tension the whole time. You're not letting that band snap you back. Squeezing nice and slow on the way back. Okay, so a lot of the times when people do Bulgarian split squats, they're jumping around. So you want to find your bench or whatever, put that knee down, and then find your 90-degree angle. So that's your setup. So rather than people being out here like jumping around, find that knee. Find that 90-degree angle, that's your setup. So staying right here. 80% of your weight's right in that front leg. The back one's just for stabilization. So coming right here. Keeping that core super tight. Any other questions? Does anyone have any questions for me about exercises? You want me to do one with you? Anything? All right, cool. Everyone, thanks for coming. Awesome class. Thank you.